Okay, there we go. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, give me 1 second. Okay, we live. It's just come through now. All right, Salakia for that. Um, yeah, I think we good to go. Okay. Let me just share this real quick. It's just come through now. All right, Salakia for that. Um, let me go here and share this. All right. Okay. So it's good to go. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes, whom Yahweh Bashem Shai will ultimately have mercy upon. All right. I'm your brother Matazabath from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. And this is going to be an addition, news and prophecy update. All right. Now, as we shall all know by now, there's been a lot going on within Babylon the Great just within the last 48 to 72 hours, dealing with the riots, which originally started in LA. And now it has been estimated over 35 cities across the nation. Now, what I wanted to bring out within this lesson, and I'm going to try to keep it short, straight to the point. I got a couple of articles which I've put in the description box under this video that you can click on and read on your own time. The first video we're going to visit is I have pulled up here Fox News, Follow the Money. All right. FBI investigation looks into where rioters are getting funded. Now, for those of you who didn't see my last lesson that I did a couple of days ago, I actually go into the fact that this whole rioting business was associated with the Soros agencies. All right. And for those of you who don't know, look up George Soros, and he was responsible for putting out an ad on Craigslist, recruiting individuals, paying them anywhere from $6,500 to, I think the estimate was 12,000, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe I put those articles up on my latest video, the last video I did, so you can check that out in your old time. But I want to show you how this devil is caught red-handed, and we're going to show you how they claim they are investigating, looking into the rioters, but yet if you do something wrong within this society, all right, they can find you less than 30 seconds on cameras. They're spying in on us through our cell phones and whatnot, through our TV sets, smart TVs, this, that, and the third, right? So it's just ironic that Esau Edom, it's just, putting out the same BS. All right. But see, the good thing is a lot of people are waking up to the BS. Right. So without further ado, this is fair use. All right. This is fair use. Let's get into this.
Begin with Max Gordon. He's live on the ground in LA for us at this hour. Max, how are things looking there?
Hey there, Sandra. Well, relative calm here at the Federal Complex in downtown LA. This has really been the epicenter of the protests. But as you can see around me, not very many protesters, really more media than protesters at this moment. Just some National Guard soldiers standing guard at this moment. Also, no sight of the 700 Marines that have been deployed from 29 Palms. Those Marines are still down in Seal Beach, just south of the LA area. They're conducting training. And when they are going to be getting to the Los Angeles area into downtown LA, they will not have any live ammunition, and they will not not be conducting law enforcement activities. They'll just be protecting buildings like this one, federal buildings, as well as protecting federal employees as well. But as you can see all around us, this is the scene at this hour. Now, a curfew has also been put into place for downtown LA from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. for the next several days. Mayor Karen Bass said it was in response to 23 businesses being looted Monday night. 17 people were arrested last night for curfew violations. While protesters again blocked freeway traffic and clashed with law enforcement yesterday, demonstrations have been growing smaller. Meanwhile, law enforcement has been cracking down. On Tuesday, LAPD arrested more than 200 people during the protest, with 3 people arrested with guns, 1 person arrested for assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer, and another arrested for pointing a laser at an LAPD helicopter. President Trump saying in a recent phone call he chastised California Governor Gavin Newsom for his handling of the protests.
I mean, I've always had a good relationship with him. He just doesn't do a very good job. He should have never been allowed to start. And if we didn't get involved, Los Angeles would be burning down right now, just like the houses burned down.
Since Friday, ICE has arrested hundreds of suspected undocumented immigrants in raids across Southern California. The agency has highlighted the arrests of criminals, pointing out suspected gang members, child sex abusers, and murderers who have been targeted in these raids. But in an address to the state on Tuesday night, Governor Gavin Newsom said that the Trump administration is pushing mass deportation, indiscriminately targeting immigrants.
I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not. Fred Hall.
Damn commercial. So anyway, as you can see, all right, their plan was called and I'm gonna just pause real quick, but just to get you brothers and sisters up to speed, they're doing what's called a smoke and mirror effect. Now, what's a smoke and mirror effect? It's pretty simple. You have one person that's set up to look like the good guy, and then you have another person that's set up to look like the bad guy. But what people don't understand is whether they're good or bad, they're both working for the same entity. All right. This guy right here, let me get this real quick. And we're going to read this a little bit later on. This is the same cat that's going around. All right, as it says here, Newsom warns the nation that Trump is destroying American democracy, calls for rebellion against the president. All right. So what the elites are trying to do, which our people, Jake, is falling for the okie doke. They're believing in this madness, man. And they're being set up for the snare. All right. So let's come back over here. Let's get some more real quick.
To him.
Meanwhile, ICE raids continue here in Southern California.
Salaki, I'll take that back just a tad bit there. See what he said before the ad came on.
Mass deportation, indiscriminately targeting immigrants.
I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
So, right off the bat, we can kind of see, okay, what's going on. And yeah, that's right. Like the brother said, Nakat, Shalom, Yahbashim Shai, they're trying to recruit to spread to the whole U.S. lockdown, looking more and more evident. There you go. Yeah. And that's what's coming down. All right. This is brother GMS Tazadat Ban Yahweh Shalom, Yahbashim Shai, Barakatah, Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right. And if you understand, when you go into that word dragon, it goes back to the Greek word drakon or drakon, which goes back to ancient Rome, draconian measures. And that's what's coming in, in Babylon Great. Trump, which we believe who is Nero in the reincarnation, is going to bring draconian measures. And he already started bringing draconian measures by implemented military personnel. All right. It's been said that the Marines have now been escorted out towards that area, but that they also going to place it in another 35 cities. Now, meanwhile, the FBI is looking, all right, into in an investigation. But meanwhile, this is on the peoplevoice.tv. they've already found it. It says Soros-backed operatives caught delivering truckloads of bionic shields to professional rioters. What is this all about? All right. And so you understand they're going to try to tie in this this group here, the whole Palestine situation. Don't be surprised if they try to tie us, the Israelites, into this nonsense, man, when they come down with great wrath. Right. So let's have a quick read of this real quick. Abaratazah, you brothers and sisters can see that. But it says, television cameras have captured a troubling scene unfolding on the streets of LA. Boxes of high-tech bionic shields being handed out to protesters from the back of a pickup truck just days after a bombshell investigation uncovered a coordinated mobilization effort funded by Soros-backed organizations. Think back to the BLMK riots that happened during the time of George Floyd. All right. Remember how those riots were started? It's the same thing. Okay. Esau's same tricks. According to the investigation, operatives tied to dark money networks are being paid staggering weekly sums between $6,500 to $12,500. There you go. It says to inflame tensions, confront law enforcement, and escalate unrest across the city. And once again, if you haven't seen my last video that I did, on that previous video, I actually included the link showcasing the actual ad from Craigslist if you want to go and check that out. It says the footage shows two women distributing advanced full-face protective masks resembling helmets to individuals in protest gear, while a masked driver stood by. The scene has raised alarms about outside actors arming demonstrators to escalate violent clashes with police and even the National Guard. All right. So this devil ain't playing fair, man. Okay. Same tactics. Okay. And it says, yeah, bionic shields. This is on X, formerly known as Twitter, from John Strand. Around $60 each are being trucked into LA rioters. President Trump was right. It's a paid insurrection. Now, notice he said President Trump was right. It's a paid insurrection because ultimately, we don't want that, Salakia. Ultimately, they're trying to paint Trump. Remember, it's the smoke and mirror effect. You have the good guy versus the bad guy. But the whole time, both Newsom and Trump, okay, behind the scenes, they're working together. And this is what our people, they can't seem to fathom. It says the Democratic Party is waging war against American citizens. Literally, this is beyond crazy. How does this end? So the whole right wing versus left wing BS nonsense. All right. Bionic shields are full-face transparent visors that are marked online as a safety tool for dangerous workplaces. All right. Keyword, dangerous workplaces, right? Well, actors are at work, right? They protect against flying debris and chemical splashes and are recommended for those working as machinists or mechanics in auto body shops. All right. And there's a picture right there of the box, the shield. However, these items have become standard use or standard issue for professional agitators in recent years, gaining popularity among Antifa-aligned protesters and other radical groups. All right. And yeah, you can pretty much read more into this. I've left the link in the description box. All right. So it's all there, man. So let's get a couple of precepts to start off the lesson with. All right. First one we're going to get into is the book of Proverbs, chapter 26. I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, right? And their right hand is full of bribes. Okay. Because remember, coming back to this, okay, they're giving people between $6,500 and $12,500 to take part of this. All right. So yeah, the proof is in the pudding, as they like to say, right? All right. So let's go from there. And this is the book of Psalms 94. And 20 says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? Okay, because now they're contemplating on if they should bring in martial law. Okay, But yet our people, a lot of you Northern Kingdom tribes, okay, you've been set up for the okie doke. You're out there, okay, with the man of sin, man, who's plotting against you, and you fell right for the trap. All right, you fell right for the trap. So this is also this is Proverbs 4:16, because see, they've been planning this, man. Okay, it says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. Their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall." All right, and now it's been said that a lot of the people who they've arrested, guess what? Now they're being shipped off to Guantanamo Bay. And you know what's going to happen when you get to Guantanamo Bay. We spoke about this on the Elders Live, Elder Machiala from GMS Chicago, live earlier today on TikTok, about the simple fact that a lot of them are going to be unalived in Guantanamo Bay. They are already starting to chip people down in Guantanamo Bay. This information actually came out about 3 to 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this is what's already going down. All right, and Jake, they can't see right through it. All right. So again, this is Proverbs chapter 6, and this is in the AMP. I'll start at verse 13. The point is at verse 14. It says, oh, you know what? We'll start at 12. It says, "A worthless person, a wicked man, is one who walks with a perverse, corrupt, vulgar mouth, who winks with his eyes in mockery, who shuffles his feet to signal, who points with his fingers to give subversive instruction, who perversely in his heart plots trouble and evil continually, who spreads discord and strife." And that's exactly, okay, when you come back here, that's exactly what's going on now. Okay, Esau has orchestrated mischief. He's causing the strife, the discord amongst the tribes. Okay, it's the same playbook, the same tactic, man. All right. And Jake is falling for the okie doke. All right. Let's get one more before we get the next video. All right. This is in the AMP again. All right. Precepts and warnings. Notice the title, Proverbs 24:1. We start at the top. "Do not be envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them. All right. For their minds plot violence, and their lips talk of trouble for the innocent." All right. Because this man, you know, as the scripture says, let's get what's that? Is that Psalms 10? All right. This is Psalms chapter 10. And let me see here. I start at verse 2. It says, "In pride and arrogance the wicked hotly pursue and persecute the afflicted. Let them be caught in the plots with which they have devised," right? "For the wicked boasts and sings the praises of his heart's desire, and the greedy man curses and spurns and even despises the Lord Yahweh." All right. Because they really think that they're going to prosper in their you know, their evil schemes that they've been plotting on Jake, man. And you can see it. All right. You can see this brewing, man. And we are in the times of Second Esdras, both chapters 15 and 16 is playing right out before our very eyes. All right. But let's hold that. Okay. So remember, coming back to here, okay, FBI says follow the money, right? Looking for an investigation. But we just read from the article here that is backed by the Soros, man. The Soros organizations, right? So let's hold that. Okay, let's come over here to show you what else is going on around the world. Because see, while that's going on, check this out. Let's play this.
Chaos grips Ballymena, Northern Ireland, as 2 nights of riots leave a trail of destruction. What began as a peaceful vigil, Monday for a teenage girl allegedly sexually assaulted, has spiraled into what police call racist thuggery. Masked rioters, fueled by anti-immigration sentiment, targeted minority communities, torching cars and homes in Clonavon Terrace. 4 houses were set alight and 6 more had windows smashed. Drone footage captures the intensity, with petrol bombs hurled amid burning barricades. The police service of Northern Ireland fought back with batons, water cannons, and plastic baton rounds.
Now, keep in mind what's happening at Babylon the Great, starting out there in LA. Now it's been reported also in Dallas and projected by this weekend, 35 plus more cities. The same thing is happening on the other side of the world. The same agency backed by Soros is outsourcing these paid actors and actresses, right? The same amount of money to go over into other parts of the world and to do the same BS, man. All right. But see, this is what they're not telling you on the mainstream news.
Armored vehicles tore through barricades to regain control. 32 officers have been injured over 2 nights, with 17 hurt Tuesday alone. 5 people were arrested Tuesday for riotous behavior, bringing the total to 6. Minority families, particularly Romanian residents, fled in fear, some displaying signs to avoid attack. One Bulgarian mother said she's...
Now, did you see that? Let me take that back a little bit. And look at the mask. It's all covered up, man. Wearing all black, which that within itself raises alarm bells, because really that's if you're talking about an esoteric level, black, when you look it up on an esoteric level, all right, that's a form of witchcraft. You see what I mean? The same thing they're doing in LA, man. All right. Let's play some more.
One Bulgarian mother said she's leaving for good. The violence spread beyond Ballymena, with unrest in Newtown Abbey, Carrickfergus, and North Belfast, where bins were set alight and more arrests made. First Minister Michelle O'Neill condemned the racist and sectarian violence, while Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer called it unacceptable. Police warn the riots could jeopardize the assault case, urging calm as tensions remain high.
Right, so they're stirring up they're stirring up the people. All right. And this is what it recommends. See ya. Goodbye. That's what it recommends. All right. So, and Salakia. All right. So there you have it. Let's continue.
As Ballymena braces for more unrest, the PSNI vows to pursue offenders using video evidence, with fears the violence could persist for weeks.
Right. Okay. So that was North Ireland, as you can see there, right? So now let's get one more. All right. Let's turn our attentions here.
Great Britain looks like a nation where life is functioning normally. Below the surface, however, lies a growing sense that the United Kingdom is coming apart at the seams. King's College London professor of war studies David Betts set off alarm bells this year by saying Britain is headed towards civil war, and he advised people living in its large cities to move before the violence starts.
Imagine Northern Ireland scale, or Northern Ireland in intensity, but on a completely national scale. Attacks on public figures, judges, potentially politicians.
London Daily Telegraph columnist Tim Stanley told us he agrees with Betts that Britain is heading for open sectarian conflict, possibly war, and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
And his argument is this, that first of all, Britain displays many of the signs of being a failed state, such as economic decline, total loss of trust in the police, and a fractious and increasingly extreme politics.
At the center of this unrest is a government multicultural experiment that has brought in large numbers of Muslims without requiring them to integrate. More continue to arrive daily. This is Britain's southern border, the English Channel, across from the coast of France. And it's as porous as the Rio Grande River, 2 weeks ago, 1,200 illegal migrants arrived in a single day.
When you have a country in decline and you add large numbers of new people into the mix, what you end up with is ethnic conflict over resources.
Experts fear all that might be needed to trigger a civil war is another terror attack. White working class anger exploded last summer when the son of a Rwandan immigrant stabbed 11 children and 2 adults at a dance studio. 3 girls died. Social media posts initially misidentified the killer as an illegal migrant.
And notice the key words that they catch people off guard: illegal immigrant, right? These are the things that are transpiring, not just in Babylon the Great, but on a global scale. And why is this happening? Because prophecy. This has to happen, right? But let's finish this out.
Sparking the worst riots in 10 years. Only much later did police reveal the killer possessed an Al-Qaeda training manual. Right-wing and working-class British are also angry over what they claim is a 2-tier justice system that favors Muslims. Last week, this man was convicted of a crime for publicly burning a Quran in a political protest. A Muslim man with a knife who threatened to kill him faced no charges. Lucy Connolly, a 41-year-old mother, is serving 31 months in prison for a tweet appearing to encourage violence against illegal migrants after the murders of those 3 girls in Southport. She got more jail time than some of the members of this Pakistani sex grooming gang, convicted for child prostitution and having sex with a minor. Add to this rising crime, Orwellian state censorship, and economic decline in many areas.
Orwellian state censorship. Why is that? Because we understand that there's going to be a famine of the word coming, man. So as you can see, no matter where you are across the 4 corners of the earth, each country, each nation is going about bringing a collapse through different stages. All right. They have their own way of doing things to bring in. All right. And they know what to do to cause people to riot, man. Court cases, this, that, and third, immigrants, you name it.
Academic and news commentator Matt Goodwin.
I think there is a widespread consensus in the country that Britain is a nation in decline, economically, demographically, and culturally. There are areas that are just as poor as Eastern Europe, as parts of the developing world, in Northern England, in some of our coastal towns.
The perception is, among the white working class, that the state actively prefers ethnic minorities and is funneling resources their way. Some white working class people, they're saying, why is it they get hotel rooms? Why is it they get welfare when we are struggling?
The riots and the disturbances were symptomatic of a much deeper disillusionment in this country with the way in which British people just no longer feel safe in their own communities. They no longer feel safe in their country where lawlessness is essentially being sanctioned by the state.
Political strategist Dominic Cummings says elements within the British government are finally beginning to discuss Britain's slide into chaos and the potential for serious violence. Oliver J.J. Lane is the bureau chief of Breitbart London.
There are 2 sort of issues feeding into this. First of which is essentially
The hell is going on here? Anyway.
Civilizational collapse, which is causing a rise in crime and potentially civil unrest between ethnic groups. And then on the other hand, you have government incompetence and policing incompetence. And that creates that downward spiral.
One pollster conducting focus groups in small English towns this year said the disillusionment was the worst I've heard. In every group, it was anger, despondency, or misery about the state of Britain that doesn't feel sustainable.
So what you're seeing here on a global scale is sedition among men, all right, which Lord's will. All right, you just keep popping up. Well, guess what? You're gonna be blocked again. All right, keeps popping up. All right. So essentially, what you have, right? Like the brother said, it's the same ish that was in the U.S. It's clear that they are reading the same script, and there you go. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's the same script. All right. Let me open this up real quick. Let's get a precept. All right. Because we're not ignorant, right? But this is Jeremiah 49:10. And it says, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." All right. So those who have eyes to see, okay, they can clearly see what's going on, man. And only the elect is going to be able to discern these things and know what's going on. Okay. Only the elect is going to be able to discern the times that we're in, man, because we're measuring the time diligently within itself, right? All right. So let's come back and finish this out.
One focus group member suggested Britain might need a coup. Professor Betts says civil war could also break out in France, as well as the United States. Stanley believes civil war in the UK could be avoided through the spiritual awakening already underway.
There is something going on here. Church attendance is up. Young people are becoming more religious than ever. If there is a potential for change, it's going to come from society and the grassroots and ordinary people. It's not.
No, that change is going to see. There's a spirit here on the planet Earth, which we're going to get all of that. But they look, you see how mainstream media is spinning it, right? You take this back a little bit.
It's going to come from society and the grassroots and ordinary people. It's not going to come from politicians.
The famous British economist Adam Smith cautioned the prophets of doom when he said there is a great deal of ruin in a nation. In other words, it takes a lot to bring a country down. But Britain now has so many problems, it just might test that theory. Damn.
There you go. All right. So let's get ready to get some precepts. All right. Close this out. This is Luke 11:17 in the NLT. All right. And this is Yahushai's words. He knew their thoughts. So he said, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. All right. Which is the title of tonight's lesson. It says a family splintered by feuding will fall apart. All right. And so this is what's at stake here, right? Matter of fact, let's also get Psalm 64. All right, because see, they've been planning this. This is nothing new. This is Psalm 64:1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, and my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. You see? And, we're in a time where brothers should be circumspect in their goings. Okay, when you're out and about, don't put yourself in an uncompromisable situation. Now is the time not to try to be tough, man. All right? Be more circumspect, not only in your surroundings, but in your in all your doings. Okay? Let's go from there to the book of Micah, chapter 2:1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Esau, Edom. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. So if somebody who's new saying, well, why is this happening? I don't understand. Search ye the scriptures, man. Okay, this is happening because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24. All right. And we need things like this to actually happen. All right. So that we can get the hell up out of here. So let's go over from there. All right. And this is the GNT. This is 2nd Esdras 15. And I'm going to start at verse 14. And it says, the world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations, and there will be great political turmoil. Now, when I looked this word up, I came over here. What is the meaning of political turmoil? It says a state of confusion, uncertainty, and disorder. Okay. And this is what Esau prides himself on. Okay. Order out of chaos. All right. And that's what's being brought to the forefront. Remember, when you come back over here, remember the smoke and mirror effect. You have Newsom that's warning the nation about DJ President Trump and how he's allegedly destroying American democracy. So we're in a political turmoil because now, okay, you have Esau going against Esau. All right. Which, when I say that, going back to Isaiah the 19th chapter, because you got Edomites on the street that's coming up against Edomites, man. They don't know which sides to pick. You see? But let me read this again. All right. Political turmoil. It says a state of confusion, uncertainty, or disorder. Okay. And that's what we're seeing on a grand scale. So 2nd Ezra 15-16, here again in a G&T, there will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. And you can see how it's ultimately going to play out, right? Because people, they're going to not revert to the government. All right. They're going to start forming their own militia groups and whatnot. Okay. And then that's going to lose to, that's not lose, but Salakia, that's going to allude to them going out on their own rim. They're going to go out on their own limb. Right. So it goes on to say there will no longer be free access to cities. Now, remember, I said earlier that DJ President Trump already sourced out the Marines. LA has already put in a curfew, 8 p.m. Now, it's projected by this weekend, another 35 plus U.S. cities are scheduled to be a bigger protest than what currently happened in LA. So you can see the writing on the wall, right? It says, verse 18, because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. All right. Driven by famine. All right. Terrible suffering. Because keep in mind, they're talking about the ports, the seaports, the container shipments have been very low. Okay. Very low. So people are going to resort back to panic buying. When the scriptures speak about the storehouses being empty, right? Let's not forget about that. All right. So what you are witnessing right before your very eyes is these prophecies are jumping off the pages, right? So it goes on furthermore to say, verse 19 again, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. All right. And this is what's coming, man. All right. This is how we're measuring the time diligently within itself. All right. So we'll get one more here and then we'll get some off the comment board and close out. All right. I didn't want this to be too long, but let's get 2 Corinthians 2:11. We should all know this by now. All right. In the NLT, it says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, but we are familiar with his evil schemes, man. Okay. Don't get caught out here lacking. All right. The scriptures speak about don't be ignorant in a small matter or even in a great matter, man. You need to stay diligent and circumspect at all times, keeping your head on the swivel whilst being out here, man. Right. So let's get the comment board precept. Shalom, Yahweh Shemel Shah, Brother Patrick. Posted Ezekiel 7:6, and end is come, the end is come. And they watch it for thee. Behold, it has come. The morning is come unto thee. O thou that dwellest in the land, the time is come. The day of trouble is near. Beautiful precept. And we're in that time. All right. We are in that time, man. Okay. And let's get this beautiful precepts. GMS Tazadak. Why is it not coming up, Salakia? Trying to bring it up. All right. Psalm 64:3, because I read verses 1 and 2 already, says, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. All right. Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Right. Because see, they think that what they're doing, all right, they're not going to receive no evil for it. All right. Somebody can get the precept. What's that? Ecclesiastes 8:11. All right. For a sentence against an evil man, roughly paraphrasing. Right. It says here, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Right. And they think that we can't see what's going on. But you didn't already been found out, Esau. Here it is. Fox News have the nerve to say, well, FBI is tracing the riots and where the money is going the whole time. The alternative news sources is telling you that the money is being traced directly to George Soros, man. All right. Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Why? Because they're trying to overall establish their enterprise, which is leading us into their new world order, backed by the RFID micro CHIP, which indeed is the mark of the beast. Okay. This is Hosea 16:5. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. I have slain them by the words of my mouth, and thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. Right. Okay. Salvation of the elect posted Matthew 24:21 in the AMP. But at that time, there will be a great tribulation, pressure, distress, oppression, such as has not occurred since the beginning of the world until now, nor ever will again. All right. And that lines beautifully up with Daniel, the 12th chapter in the first verse. Okay. And this is where we are. All right. Nakaf posted Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. All right. Salvation posted Ephesians 5:6 at 15. Salakia. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, man. Okay. GMS Tazadat posted Colossians 4:5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Don't get caught lacking out there. Verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. That's another key point. All right. Not that you have to over worry about what you want to say if you find yourself in an uncompromisable situation. The Lord's going to take care of us in that day. All right. He's going to give you words that your enemies won't be able to gainsay, as the scripture says. Right. So we got two more. All right. Nakab got the precept, Ecclesiastes 8:11, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. And these devils really think that they're going to, once they say that's just going to be the end of it. Like they're just going to ride off to the sunset. They're going to achieve their 500,000 people on the planet, and they're going to rebuild again. It's not going to happen that way. All right. And we read in the NLT, salvation of the elect. When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. All right. That's Esau all day, man. That's why the scripture says he is the vessels of the wrath fitted for destruction. Okay. So, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to update you, Akim, on what's going on with current events across the four corners of the earth. All right. And hey, it's all happening. And Abaratazah, it continues to grow. Disasters come upon this place, man. A ball. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out, and I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors once again to the beloved apostles and elders at Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David. Abaratazah, Lord's will, you were edified, and so on to the next. Shalom.